Saral Japani. Japanese learning made easy. Minasan, konnichiwa. Hey friends, how are you? Welcome to Saral Japan YouTube channel. This is a place where we talk about Japan and Japanese language. This is the series called Japanese Lessons for Beginners, and today we are at lesson number 118. In today's lesson, we are again moving back towards Japanese grammar, and in this lesson, we shall discuss two very important verbs, ageru and morau, and we will see what these two are, and we will look at another usage of ni particle. So we have seen ni particle being used in several situations. So today we will see how ni particle is used with these two verbs, ageru and morau, which means to give and to receive respectively. So friends, before we start with our discussion on these two verbs, ageru and morau, I would like to tell you that this series is a sequential series, which means the chapter that we are doing today, for that chapter, the previous lessons are the prerequisites. That means you have to study in a sequential manner the lessons that we are doing in this series, because the series is purely based on how one should learn Japanese. So if you are a new uh, subscriber or a new member of this channel, of this series in fact, then I would suggest you to go to the playlist called Japanese Lessons for Beginners and start from the very first lesson if you are very new to Japanese. And if not, then according to your need, you can watch videos of any lesson. So with that being said, let's begin today's lesson. Verbs ageru and morau. Verb ageru means to give something to someone, and morau means to get something from someone. Now, the usage of these verbs in a sentence depends on who is giving to whom and who is getting from whom. So this is very, very important here, because both of these verbs are used for the subject of the sentence. So for example, if A is giving, then the ageru will be applicable to for A. Similarly, if A is receiving something in a sentence where A is the subject, then it will be morau verb will be used for A, not for anyone else who is giving. So it will always be about the subject. So A gave, so then we will use age mashta, right? So although I have written agemas, but since this is a past tense, so agemashta. So now this kanji character, this you might recall we have done in one of our kanji lessons, and which means above, right? So this is the ground level and this indicates something above. So you might be wondering how this symbol now means to give something to someone. So we will look into that. So A gave means A is the subject who is giving, so we can use agemas. So A gives, so A wa agemas. And if A received something or A got something, then moraimas or moraimashita for the past tense. So the direction is towards A. Here for agemas, the direction is from A and this is to A. So A is receiving something from someone. So this is the kanji that I was just talking about. So if you recall, so I have just extracted that particular slide from the kanji lesson. In the 56th kanji character of our kanji study was this character, which means above or up. And you can see here ageru we had discussed with this, the verb ageru, and ageru, which would mean to raise something or to point something upward. So if you see here, the meaning of this kanji character is ue, which means above, over, up, top, summit, upper part, head of an example of a staircase. So if we say, if we ask Okay, so the surface on top of the above in a piece of writing, earlier part, superior, better, higher position. So everything which is related to high or above. So this is basically, this is denoted by this symbol. So now, if in today's lesson, the verb that we are discussing, ageru, we are not discussing it with respect to something lying above or not related to, we are not related to something we are raising up. So no. So in today's context, the verb ageru is used to denote, to give something. So that we didn't discuss in this kanji character symbol, because in general this character, it represents above or up. So in our case, this kanji character, it represents to give something. And how will you know from a given sentence whether it means to raise or to give? You will know from the particle. So we will just come to that. The ni particle, if that exists along with this verb agemas, then you will know that here agemas is not mean, does not mean to raise something up or high above, but it means to give something to someone. Agemas is used when the giver is the subject. As I said, A was our subject in the previous example, and the receiver is outside the giver's inner group, like friends, family, or oneself. The verb is used from the giver's perspective for giving to third parties or people in an outside circle. So, is that clear? So, if we are saying A is giving something, Eva agemas, that means A gives something. A gives. So, A is our subject. Similarly, moraimas is used when the receiver is the subject. That means A gets something, and the giver is outside the receiver's inner group, like friends, family, or oneself. And the verb moraimas is used from the receiver's perspective, from getting from third parties or people in an outside circle. So in the previous example, that is eva agemas or eva moraimas, we simply know that A, the subject, has either given, if it is agemas, agemashta, or it has received, that is moraimashta. And we do not know about anything else. That means there is no other information given in that in those two examples. We just know that A is the subject which has given, and A is the subject which has received. Moraimashita. So moraimas, agemas, you very well know this is the mass form of the stem verb ageru and morau. So moraimas, moraimashta, moraimasen, moraimasen deshta, and similarly agemas, agemashta, agemasen, agemasen deshta. And if you talk about the informal ones, then morau becomes muratta, agiru becomes agatta, and so on. So next is some examples. As you can see here, watashi wa pen o agemashita. So now this is a very good example. Watashi wa pen o agemashita. So since these kanji characters to raise something, so I can say very well, I raised my pen. Watashi wa pen o agemashita. There is nothing in this sentence which could give an indication that I was not raising my pen, but I was giving my pen. So here are both the meanings are valid, but depending on the previous sentence or the next sentence, you should be able to understand what the speaker is talking about. So we will come to more specific example when while using ni particle, and when the meaning will be I gave my pen. So watashi wa pen o agemashita, it can mean I gave my pen, and also it may mean I raised my pen. Watashi wa pen o moraimashita. So very similar. I received a pen. Watashi wa pen o moraimashita. So in both the sentences, who is the subject? Watashi. I is the subject. So I am giving something. So that's why watashi wa agemashita. And here I am on the one who is receiving. So moraimashita will be belonging to me. Moraimashita belongs to me. Watashi wa pen o moraimashita. I received a pen, or I got a pen from someone. So ageru verb, here the subject may be I, we, he, or she. It can be anyone, Tanaka-san as well. And he is giving something to you, him, her, or them to some external person outside his circle. Similarly, morau, here again the subject is the same. I, we, he, she, Tanaka-san, Suzuki-san, or anyone. And that subject is receiving something from his external circle, which may be you, him, her, them, and so on. Now, use of ni particle. So now comes the very important part of this discussion, use of ni particle. So before discussing ni particle with ageru and morau verbs, let us recap what we know about the usage of ni particle. So which all scenarios we have learned so far regarding the ni particle. Let's take a look at that. Time ni verb. So this was the first one that we had discussed. For example, watashi wa rokuji ni okimasu. Watashi wa mainichi rokuji ni okimasu. That means every day I wake up at 6 a.m. or 6 o'clock. So time ni verb rokuji ni okimasu. That means I wake up at 6. So this is one usage of the ni particle. Next is place ni motion verb. That means Tokyo ni ikimasu or kino watashi wa Tokyo ni ikimashita. That means yesterday I went to Tokyo. So place followed by ni. Here you can also use the a particle. Tokyo e ikimasu is also valid. Tokyo ni ikimasu is also valid. What is the difference between a particle and ni particle in this context? That also we have discussed. I am not going to discuss that because that is itself a different subject. Then the third application of ni particle was purpose ni motion verb. That means if you are going somewhere or coming from somewhere, what purpose did you go for that? So for example, saikuringu ni ikimasu. I am going for cycling. So or kaimono. Kaimono ni ikimasu. I am going for shopping. So that is purpose ni motion verb. Going for some purpose. So place and purpose both can use ni particle before the motion verb. And then we also discussed place ni arimas or place ni imas. That means ni particle precedes the verb aru and arimas and imas. So for example, tsukue no ue ni hon ga arimasu. That means there is a book on the table. Tsukue no ue means on the table. Tsukue means table, ue means top or above. So tsukue no ue ni hon ga arimasu. That means something is there on the table. The book lies on the table. So here with arimasu we have to use the ni particle. Similarly, imas is used for living objects. We can write tsukue no ue ni neko ga imasu. That means there is a cat sitting on the table. Neko ga imasu. So tsukue no ue ni kaban ga arimasu. There is a bag on the table. So these were the four usages of ni particle that we have learned so far. Now we will see how we can use ni particle with agemasu and moraimasu. So A gives N to B. So till now we learned that A gives and A receives. So now let's extend this to some more specific information. A gives to B and A gives N to B. So now how that will look like in Japanese. A wa B ni N o ageru. So here there will be an O particle. So this O will come here, which I have missed this one here. O. O is very important here because without that, like this. Okay. So A gives N to B means in Japanese it will be sorry. A wa B ni N o ageru. So now you can see here very well, A is the subject or the topic of this sentence. So we know that a subject Y is the subject marker or the topic marker basically. So that's why A follows wa, and B here, it's the person who is receiving something. So B will have ni, Eva bini no ageru or agemas. So here this portion may not also be there. So if it is simply A gives to B, then it will be Eva bini ageru. Then this N and O will not be present here. So A gives to B, Eva bini ageru. What does that mean? This means ni particle is used to express this to here. That means the preposition to in English is the same as the ni particle in this context with the verb ageru. So A gives to B means Eva bini ageru or Eva bini agemas. And if you say A gave to B, then it will be Eva bini agemashta. Now next is A receives N from B. So now N from so A receives from B. It was A gives to B, now A receives from B. So what will be used? So for this case it was ni particle. So what will be used in this case? Eva B dash no moraimashita or moraimas. So what will be the particle? It will still be ni particle. So this is the beauty of that in English it was the first one is to, the second one is from because A receives from B, but in Japanese it will still be Eva bini no morau or Eva bini no moraimas or moraimashita. That means A receives from B, Eva bini moraimas. So in above, ni corresponds to the preposition from. So in both the scenarios, particle ni is used. The subject A and the verb ageru or morau clarifies who gives or who receives. So only looking at the ni particle, you will not be able to understand what is happening. If you see the verb ageru with ni, then it means to be. Be ni ageru means someone gives to be. And if you see be ni moraimashita, then that means the subject has received something from B. So this is the meaning. So you have to be very, very careful in using these two verbs, ageru and morau. And this is the reason why we are having a separate lesson, especially for these two verbs, because it is very easy to get confused because we are now explaining in a very simple manner using very simple sentence structures. But in some sentences, in the exam, for example, in JLPT, they might confuse you between the subject and other parts of the sentence. So you have to find the subject if you are using the verbs ageru and morau, because it's the only the subject who is giving in case of ageru, and it is the subject who is receiving from someone or anyone when we have the verb morau in this sentence. So you have to find the look for the subject. So now let's look at some examples. Watashi wa tomodachi ni pen o agemashita. So very clear here that watashi is the subject. Watashi is the subject. Tomodachi ni means, and since it is agemashita, that means to tomodachi. That is, I am giving something to tomodachi. Pen. What I am giving? Pen. That means I gave my pen to my friend. It should mean like that. I gave my friend a pen. It's the same thing. So watashi wa tomodachi ni pen o agemashita. I gave my friend a pen, or I gave my pen to my friend. Next is watashi wa tomodachi ni pen o moraimashita. Now rest of the sentence is the same. As you can see, only the verb has changed from agemashita to moraimashita, and the ni particle is also the same. That means I received a pen from my friend. So here, as I said in the last slide, both for to and for from, the same ni particle is used in Japanese. So here watashi is again the subject. So when it is used with moraimashita, that means the subject has received. So I have received a pen from my friend. And another very, very important thing. So till now, for from, we have been using kara. So we discussed this kara particle from two perspectives. One was place kara, that means from a place, or time kara, from time. That means a meeting is from 3 p.m. So we would say Sanji Kara, right? Sanji Kara or Niji Kara, that means from 2 o'clock. So that is one from, and from Tokyo, Tokyo Kara, that is from place. And we also discussed about Kara when it is used to join the reason with the consequence. That means I did not go because of some sickness or because of some work. So shigoto kara ikimasen. That means I could not go due to work. So here again we can use watashi wa tomodachi kara pen o moraimashita. So from a friend. So earlier it was from a place, from time, or reason kara consequence. And this is now the fourth application where kara is used to represent something received from someone. So tomodachi kara pen o moraimashita. Tomodachi ni pen o moraimashita. Tomodachi kara pen o moraimashita. Both are correct usage. So both are correct usage. If you find ni particle confusing to use, or you do not understand that very correctly, or you believe you might land up into errors while writing that, so kara can also be interchangeably used for this scenario. But here you cannot write in place of to, you cannot write made. So be very careful. Kara made. So made you cannot write in place of ni particle in this case of agemashita. But for moraimashita you can replace ni particle with kara particle. So watashi wa tomodachi ni pen o moraimashita and watashi wa tomodachi kara pen o moraimashita. Both are correct. So to summarize, time ni verb, place ni motion verb, purpose ni motion verb, place ni arimas or imas, and now today we have received eva bini agerimas or agerimashita and eva bini moraimas or moraimashita. So you see like how many different usages are there for the ni particle, which we had earlier told you that gradually we will come across more and more usage of ni particle. So there are more which we will again see in the upcoming lessons. So for now, this is what we have. So now let's look into some more examples using ageru and morau verbs. So this example is kanai ni, is if you can see here, kanai ni gita o moraimashita. That means here in Japanese, in other languages also, we need not always say watashi wa. If we do not say anything, then it is implied that you are talking about yourself. So you are the subject here. Although it is not mentioned here, it's only written kanai ni gita. So since ni is appearing after kanai, that means, and there is the verb moraimashita, that means the subject, which is you or watashi, that is I, not you, it's I am receiving something from kanai, isn't it? Kanai ni moraimashita. That means receiving from kanai. What I am receiving? Guitar, gita. Watashi wa kanai ni gita o moraimashita. Now what is kanai? Kanai means my own wife. So always remember that kanai is not used for wife in general, but only for one's own wife, not for wives of others. So be very, very careful while using the word kanai. Watashi wa kanai ni gita o moraimashita. That means I received a guitar from my wife. Next is otosan ni kuruma o moratta. Now moratta has come here, so this is nothing but the casual form of moraimashita. So morau, moratta, moraimas, moraimashita. And moraimasen deshta will be morana katta, which we learned in the past tense and negative past tense of stem verbs in one of the previous lessons. So you can watch those videos to understand more clearly how we derive the past tense and negative present and past tense of stem verbs. Watashi wa oto-san ni kuruma o moratta. So again here, oto-san ni. That means oto-san is the person from whom I, the subject, is receiving what? Kuruma, car. That means I received a car from my father. Oni-san ni okane o moraimasu. Oni-san. Oni-san means elder brother. Oni-san ni okane. Okane means money or gold or something. It's in general. In general terms, it means money. So okasan, oni-san ni okane. That means I received moraimas. That means I get or I receive money from my elder brother. So these two were past tense forms, and this is the present tense forms. That means I keep getting. That means daily basis, on a regular basis, I get money from my elder brother. That means my elder brother gives me pocket money. So watashi wa oni-san ni okane o moraimasu. Now, one test for you, very quick quiz. So you see this figure, you can understand what is happening here. And the sentence is Tomodachi ni presento o moraimashita. Presento. So this is in katakana because there is a English word present. So purezento, present. Tomodachi ni present o moraimashita. So now you have to tell me who is the subject here. Who is the subject in this diagram, in this photo, in this picture? Who is the subject? If this sentence is Tomodachi ni presento moraimashita, then who is saying this sentence? So moraimashita means to receive. That means the subject of this sentence is the receiver. So in this figure, who is receiving? This girl is receiving, right? Because we can see it's being given by this boy to this girl. That means the girl is saying that Tomodachi ni presento o moraimashita. Watashi wa tomodachi ni presento o moraimashita. So this is the girl who is saying this sentence. And tomodachi no presento agemashita. That means this boy is telling that he has he has given this present to his friend. So watashi wa tomodachi ni presento agemashita. Since agemashita means to give, so here the boy is giving. So boy is this subject in this sentence. Very, very important. Here tomodachi is this girl, and here tomodachi is this boy. And in both cases, watashi is the subject. So in the first sentence, this is watashi, and in the second sentence, this is watashi. So, sorry. So you have to be very, very clear about this concept of agemas and muraimas, because these two will be used only with for the subject. So you have to be careful about the subject in such cases where two persons are involved. So now we will take a look at a very simple conversation involving three persons, and then we will see. So you need not panic by seeing all this Japanese because there is no Romaji here. Since this is the 118th lesson, so I would expect that you are now pretty much confident in reading Japanese, simple Japanese, which involves mostly hiragana, katakana, and some kanji characters. Obviously, these are those kanjis which we have already learnt in our kanji lessons. So don't worry, I will be reading this out slowly so that you can follow if you cannot read. And after that, we will explain each of these sentences using Romaji and as well as English translation. So this is a conversation between three persons. One is the Onisan, that means elder brother, whose name is Taro. Then there is Mariko, and then there is Okasan, that is mother. So elder brother, Mariko, his sister, and their mother, both of their mother is Okasan, which means mother. So this is conversation is between these three persons. So let's read one by one line and let's see how much you can understand. Oni-san, Mariko, Tanjobi omedetou. Mariko, Oni-san, arigatou. Oni-san, Oka-san ni nani o moraimashita ka? Mariko, yo fuku o moraimashita. Oni-san, よかったですね。お母さん、太郎はマリコの誕生日に何をあげましたか？お兄さん、カメラを買いました。マリコ、お兄さん、ありがとう。嬉しいです。So, could you could you make out anything? Some of the portions you must be able to understand. For example, Tanjobi, Omedeto, these we have already done. Then Arigato, Moraimashita ka, Yofuku, maybe some you may not be knowing, but most of it you must be knowing. So, Mariko, Tanjobi Omedeto, Tanjobi Omedeto, Oni-san, Arigato. お母さんに何をもらいましたか？洋服をもらいました。よかったですね。太郎はマリコの誕生日に何をあげましたか？カメラを買いました。お兄さん、ありがとう。嬉しいです。So now let's understand the meaning of this conversation. So we have both agemashita and muraimashita. So let's see what are these. So the first line is Oni-san. Oni-san says, Mariko, tanjobi omedeto. That means happy birthday. Mariko is his younger sister, and Onisan, since it is written as Onisan, which means elder brother. So his elder brother to Mariko. That means it's the birthday of the little girl Mariko in the family. So Onisan congratulates her for her birthday. Mariko, happy birthday. Tanjobi omedeto. So we had seen earlier omedeto gozaimasu. So that is the formal version, and since this is a conversation between an elder brother and her little sister, so omedeto is the informal which can be used within the family members. Mariko says, Oni-san, arigato. Thanks, Oni-san. That means thank you, brother. Then Oni-san says, Oka-san ni nani o moraimashita ka? Oka-san means mother. That means what did you get from your mother? What did the mother give you? So did our mother give you any birthday present? This is the meaning of this sentence. Oka-san ni nani o moraimashita ka? That means what did you receive from the mother as a birthday gift? Mariko says, Yo fuku o moraimashita. Yo fuku means clothes. So I got clothes. I received clothes from my mother. Our mother gave me clothes as my birthday present. Then Onisan says, Yokatta desu ne. So yokatta is nothing but the past tense of yo. That is yo desu ne we say generally. This is yokatta desu ne means that was good, wasn't it? So it is in the past tense because she has already received the clothes from the mother. So that's why the tone is a past tense tone. So the actual meaning is that that's nice. I'm glad for you. So this is the meaning that yokatta desne gives. But if you go with the literal meaning, then that means that was good, wasn't it? So whenever a sentence ends with ne, then there is a confirmation required that that was good, wasn't it? Then Okasan comes into picture. The mother, probably she enters the room and she now asks her son Taro, who is basically the only son of Mariko. His name is Taro. So Okasan says, Taro wa Mariko no tanjobi ni nani o agemashita ka? That means, Taro, what have you, what did you give Mariko on her birthday? What did Taro give Mariko on her birthday? So she is now asking her son, who was chatting with Mariko. So Onisan says, Kamera o kaimashita. That means I purchased a camera. So here you can see the question was agemashita ka, but the answer is kaimashita. So this is it's okay because it need not be always agemashita. So what did you give? Because he is yet to give. Understand the difference here. So the mother is asking, what did you give to Mariko? So Onisan is yet to give that birthday present camera to Mariko, but he has already purchased it. So that's why he cannot say that I have given because he has not yet given. So he cannot say kamerao agemashita or kamerao agemasu. He cannot give. Agemasu is still okay, but agemashita is not possible. So he said that I have purchased a camera. So that has more information. That has more information than agemasu. So I purchased a camera. So on hearing that, Mariko becomes very happy and says, Onisan, Onisan, arigato, ureshi desu. So ureshi is the adjective we had seen in our lesson on adjective, which means happy. So thank you, Onisan. I am very happy. So by after getting so many presents on my birthday, I am really very happy. So ureshi desu. So this is the conversation which uses agemashita, moraimashita, kaimashita using these three verbs, and it's in the context of a birthday. So I hope this is now clear. So now for your practice. So you can now form similar conversations or short questions and answers, and you can practice yourself or with your friend, probably someone who is learning Japanese like you. So you can use these persons: otosan, father; imoto, younger sister; obasan, aunt; obasan, grandmother; kodomo, child; musuko, son; musume, daughter; one-san, elder sister; and ototo, younger brother. So we have learned all of these when we learned about the vocabulary on family members. So you can use. So this is the no particle, and these are the occasions. Tanjobi is birthday, kekkon ninenbi is wedding anniversary, and sotsugyo shiki is graduation ceremony. Ni nani o agemashita ka? That means, for example, if you say Oto-san no tanjobi ni nani o agemashita ka? That means, what did you give to your father on his birthday? Similarly, you can say Oba-san no kekkon kinenbi ni nani o agemashita ka? What did you give to your aunt on her wedding anniversary? So Oba-san no kekkon ninenbi means Oba-san's wedding anniversary, and nani o agemashita ka means what did you give. Similarly, you can use combinations of any of these with these, and you can form sentences, questions, and you can give answers also. So this is about what did you give or what did you purchase. So in the answer you can say shosetsu agemashita. That means I gave a novel. Dores, dores o agemashita. I gave a dress. Tokei, watch; kaban, bag; camera we have seen; necktie; omocha is toys; and jisho is dictionary. So you can frame the answers using this. Now this is, if you write agemashita, then if you are giving, then it is agemashita. Now if the person who has received that gift, if he says that he has received, then he will say shosetsu o moraimashita. That means I have received the novel. I have got this novel from so and so. So from so and so, you can replace it by Tanaka-san. Then it will be Tanaka-san ni. That means watashi wa Tanaka-san ni shosetsu o moraimashita. Or watashi wa Oka-san ni doresu o moraimashita. That means I received dress from my mother. So Oni-san ni tokei o moraimashita. I received a watch from my elder brother. So similarly, you can just frame sentences using this. And in the previous slide, it's the question slide. This is the answer slide. So you can frame as many sentences, as many combinations as possible, so that you can do good practice. So friends, that's it. That's it for today. Lesson 18, where we discussed verbs ageru and morau and usage of ni particle with that. So with this, we come to an end of today's video. If you are yet to subscribe to our channel, please do so quickly so that whenever we upload a new video, you get quick notification. youtube.com/saraljapani, and my email address, my personal email address is saraljapani@gmail.com. If you have any personal question, private question which you would not like to ask on the comment section, you can always email to me, and I am regular in replying to your emails. So till then, I shall be waiting for your emails and comments on this video. Do let me know how do you feel about this video, and till we meet again, Mata imasho.